Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel. This is Mary Lou with Plan, Heal, and Be Merry. My name is Mary Lou. If you are new, welcome. My channel is primarily about getting your finances in order, and my family is currently in a journey to become debt-free. So what I'm going to work on with you guys today is I am going to go into sinking funds, talk a little bit about what they are, how you set them up, why you would want to set them up, and then I'm going to go ahead and start setting my sinking funds up. And then in addition to that, I'm going to try to set up my cash envelopes. I mentioned in my previous video when I was setting up my budget planner that I was going to make just a note page and just stick it in the back over here, just to cover this in the back here and have it be usable as a page for me, a notes page. And then on this side, I had mentioned that I was going to see if the maker of this spreadsheet would sell me one with the words cash envelope. I asked her to do that last year and she was very kind to do so. But then I also mentioned that I did not want to be spending money anymore in 2020 that for something that I could make myself. So that's what I decided to do. So here I have just a little note page made in Excel, and then I basically just printed it on my sticker paper and used my paper cutter to try and cut it as straight as I could. And so now I'm just gonna tape this down, and I'm hoping that's going to be the right angle, but we'll see. I think I was a little bit off, but that's okay. And then down here I can either cover it with a washi strip, or I can also cover it with just some washi tape. And then, as I said, I went ahead and I made myself this little sticker sheet here to, instead of having to purchase one, I just went ahead and used Excel and made myself the spreadsheet. Hopefully that'll work, and this one worked out perfectly. I left this other side a little bit short, but that's all right. Okay, so I went ahead and I laid down the sticker sheet that I made for my cash envelopes for the year of 2020. Let me go ahead and add a sticker for that. Well, it's gonna have to go right here because it's the only spot I have for it. And then open this side, I am going to use one of my small cash envelope stickers, and I'm just gonna put this on here, or maybe I should put it on the actual washing. No, I'll do it on here. And I'll put my year by it. And that way I have a designated spot in order for me to make any notes or mark any changes to my cash envelopes. Let's just make it a little bit more decorative, because I'm not sure about you guys, but I like for things to be a little bit aesthetically pleasing. It helps me concentrate and it helps me look at the item a little bit more. So now that we have our setup ready to go, we can start talking about sinking funds, guys. So I am going to have this on the side here. I'm going to pull in a notebook, and we are going to start talking about what a sinking fund is. Basically, a sinking fund is a strategic way or a strategy that you can use in order to make sure that you're saving money that is going to be needed by a certain date. Let me pull out my calendar on this side and give you guys more of a detail of what I mean. And just what a sinking fund is simply a strategy that you use in order to make sure you are saving your money towards a certain expense. So for example, let's say you know that every April you have your first quarter trash due, and so you have January, February, March, and April to save for it. Basically what you do, let's say garbage pickup, in some areas it works this way. Let's say it's $100 for the quarter. And if it's January, that means that you have 4 months before this bill is due. Therefore, what you do is you take the amount of the bill and you divide it by the time frame you have in order to save this. And then this could be weeks or months. In this case, it's going to be months. So that means that you save $25 for that week, $25 for that bill every single month. Now, this is a situation where it was due once a month, your water bill, and it's $100. You basically save $25 every single week, and that way when you know that your bill is coming up in the month, you'll have your $100. Normally, the sinking fund is used more for any expenses that come periodically during the year. the rest of the expenses that are every single month you work out on your budget. But that's simply what a sinking fund is, guys. It's basically you take the amount that you know you're going to have to pay, the amount, and then you take the amount of time, whether it's months or weeks, and then divide that amount by that number of weeks or months, and then you have the amount of total that you have to be saving each period. For example, each week if that's the case, or in this case, each month. With that being said, I'm gonna go back to my sinking fund section. My family and I basically have 9 different categories for sinking funds, and that's holidays, birthdays, back to school, clothing expenses, date night, anniversary, travel, car expenses, and any memberships. And memberships are such as Amazon Prime or the Costco membership, which we have once a year. I'm gonna go ahead and write that down to show you guys what it's gonna look like. We're gonna start with a fund, and then we're gonna write the annual amount that we need, and then we will be dividing that by the number of months, and that will give us our monthly amount that we need to save. And then something I like to do is after the event, in my case, the number changes a little bit. This past 2019, my family and I were able to continue to save, and our sinking fund total did change just a little bit as a certain event went through. We adjusted the amount that we saved, but I am going to set this up as if I did not have 2019 sinking funds, as if I am starting from square one. That way you guys can see how that's gonna work for us. So the first sinking fund that we do is holidays. And this involves Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's Eve, Fourth of July, Valentine's Day, and Halloween. These are basically holidays that we know we will be spending some money on, and we want to make sure that we have the correct amount saved up in our sinking funds, and we do use Capital One 360. I'm going to insert a couple little slides for you guys so you guys can see throughout the year, you know, some of the slides that I've had as totals of the savings that we have in our sinking funds, just to give you an idea. And for Christmas, we like to save $1,200. So basically, if I'm starting again after December, this month is December, in January, I will start, or I should say keep saving $100 every single month, and that'll give me my $1,200, my $1,200 at the end of the year. So if I have $100 saved for each month for 12 months, that gives me $1,200 right there. For Thanksgiving, I'm going to adjust this just a little bit, and I am only going to save $400. In this situation, what I would do is, instead of counting November, I want to make sure that I have the $400 prior to November starting. Therefore, I would need to save $40 every single month in order to obtain $400 by Thanksgiving, by November, if I wish to have this in full prior to that month. So 400 divided by 10, that would be January through October. That's $40 every single month. For New Year's Eve, we like to save $120. 4th of July as well. Valentine's also, and this takes care of any Valentine's gift that my husband might want to make to our kids, or to myself, or I'm sorry, not myself, to me. And then for Halloween, I did $150 last year, and I think I'm going to be doing that again this year. I like that number because I do buy chocolates to give away, and I want to make sure that I have that cash. So for New Year's Eve, that money theoretically in my sinking funds should be ready, should be available. But basically, let's say that I'm starting to save this 2020 for New Year's Eve 2021. That would mean that I need to save $10 every single month. Basically, 120 divided by 12, $10. 4th of July, let's just say I have not saved for 4th of July, and it is January 2020, and I want to make sure that I have $120 by the 4th of July. So instead of counting July as a month, I'm just gonna count through June. So I'm gonna take my 120 and divide it by 6 months. That means I need to save $20 every single month. And then post-event, I can save $10 every single month. And by the time 4th of July comes around in 2021, I'll have my 120 saved in my sinking fund. For Valentine's Day, same thing. Let's just say we're starting in January. In this situation, I could either just separate or save all 120 in January or use February as a month to save for. And basically what I'm going to do here, if I'm counting January and February, that means I have 2 months to save $120. So I'll be saving $60 each month. After the event, I can go down to $10 and then I'll have my 120 available to us come Valentine's Day 2021. Same thing for Halloween. In this case, we have 10 months. Since I am varying the amount of months that I have to save, I'm going to make a note for myself here on the side. Just so I know why I'm only saving. And then I have New Year's Eve, and this will be 12. And then 120, so we're gonna do 6. And then Valentine's, we're gonna do 2. Okay. And then for Halloween, we're gonna do 150, so that makes it $15. Therefore, we are saving for 10 months. And then 150 divided by 12, we'll need to save $12.50 after October of next year in order to have our $150 come Halloween 2021. We're going to move on to our birthdays. This is another big one for my family and I. We have my husband's birthday, my son's, I'm going to write them in the order that they come, my daughter, and myself. So for my husband, let's say I want to have $150. For my son, I want to save $500. For my daughter, I want to save $500. And for myself, $150. And the reason it's so big for our children is because we usually have their birthday parties at a venue and those things can get expensive. So let's see. My husband's birthday is in March and I need to save $150 by then. So I'm going to go ahead and save for 3 months, and that means I save $50 every month. And then for my son, we need $500 and his birthday is in August. So we are going to save $62.50 and making myself a note that I am saving for 8 months. Same thing with my daughter. Hers is easy. Her birthday's in October, so that means I need to save $50 each month. And then mine is easy as well because my birthday is also in October and I would need to save $15 for 10 months. So let's see what we would need post the events for my husband and I. 150 divided by 12. So we would need $12.50 every month. And for our children, after the event, when we can have 12 months to save for towards this, we would need $41.67 each. If you guys have any questions, please don't forget to leave them down below. I'll be very, very happy to, help you figure out your sinking funds if that's something that you need. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up because that always really, really helps me. Okay, so now we're going to move on to our next ones, which will be back to school. And then I do want to mention something, guys. In my budget setup video, I mentioned that I had a surprise for you guys. I do apologize that I did not include the surprise in that video, but keep an eye out for my Hobonichi 2020 setup. I'll include the surprise there because the video prior, the one where I'm setting up my whole 2020 budget planner, it got too long and I just couldn't do it. So please forgive me. I didn't want to bore you guys with a video that was extra long. So I just thought I'm just going to take it out and I'll be adding it into my video for my Hobonichi 2020 setup. If you guys are interested to see what that surprise might be, make sure you don't miss that video, which would be probably on Christmas Day. Okay, so then we're going to continue with clothing. And we're going to continue with date night. I just think it's important that as a couple, you make sure you make time for your spouse and, you know, spend time together. And then we also like to save some money for our anniversary. And then for travel, and basically for travel, guys, if my budget doesn't allow for it, that's one of the first things that goes. And that's the thing about budgeting. If you know that your numbers are going to be off, you start taking away from a section to give to the section where you kind of overspent. The point is to try really hard not to do that, but life happens, things come up, and so it's, you know, just know that it happens to all of us. And then I have my car expenses, and basically we are not saving for anything in particular at this moment, but we do like to have a little bit of savings in our sinking funds account for any car situations that we may have. It just basically makes us feel that we're a little bit ahead of a little surprise. Okay, so memberships, we have Amazon, so I'm going to separate these. This is Amazon Prime. And we have Costco. So for annual for back to school, I like to have $400 on hand come August. So if I start saving towards $400 in January of 2020, I'm going to save for 8 months. For back to school, we wish to save $400 and I want to have that money by August. So that means that I divide $400 by 8 months, giving me $50 a month in order to have $400 total come August. After August, each month I can save $33.34. For clothing, we just do $50. We don't really save towards anything or a specific amount. We just like to have $50 in our sinking funds a month. Sometimes it gets used, sometimes it doesn't. And it's basically for whenever the children outgrow jackets or shoes or need new jeans because my son always tears the knees, you know, that kind of thing. For date night, my husband and I think it's important to spend a little bit of time together. So we decided that $75 a month would be, you know, enough to go on a little date, whether it be a movie, dinner, anything of the sort. And then for anniversary, we like to have $120 for that. And our anniversary is in March. So let's say we start saving in March. 120 divided by 3. That would mean that I need to save $40 every single month in order to reach my 120 for March. And after our anniversary in March, then I would only need to save $10 every single month in order to have 120 come next March. Travel, we just do $600 and we just basically do $50 a month. There's nothing specific that it is going towards, but let's say we decide to drive over to my brother's house for my niece's birthday. That way we have our travel fund to pull money from to use for gas or road trip expenses. We don't have to worry about lodging because we'll stay with my brother, but that's what that money would go towards. For our car, we simply like to have $50 on hand every single month that we put into savings. And this is just in case of an emergency, in case anything breaks down, because let's face it, you guys, something's gonna happen with our cars. And one thing or another is gonna break. We're gonna need new tires. When you do know that you need new tires and you know that your tires cost about $1,000 or $500, then that's when you can use your sinking fund and just have saved those amount of money throughout the period of time that you have. Let's say it's January and you need to change your tires and you need to do it soon, so you think July. And the tires are gonna cost $600. So basically you just divide your $600 divided by 6, and then that means that you save $100 every single month from January to June. That way come July, you'll have your $600 for your tires, just for an example. For memberships, we have Amazon Prime, and normally it has been $130, and Costco is, I believe, $60. Therefore, let's say in January I'm starting to save for Amazon, so I'll need to divide 130 by 3 because I know that my bill is due in March. So that means that I need to save $43.34 every month, after which I will only need to save $10.84. And then for my $60, that comes due in June. So I'm gonna go ahead and divide this by 6. I'm gonna make a note for myself that that's for 3 months. I'm gonna divide this by 6. That means that I need to save $10 every single month for 6 months, and I will have my $60 come June. After which I can save $5 every single month, and then come June of 2021, I will have $60 ready to go for Costco. Alright you guys, so this is my video setting up the sinking funds. I hope it's something that you guys enjoyed. If you do have any questions, don't forget to list them down below. I do have my sinking fund deposit tracker here. I went ahead and I made my own deposit tracker for my cash envelopes, and then here I will write notes on my cash envelopes. I may have a different video on that just to explain to you guys how it is that cash envelopes work and how you might be able to use them to your advantage when it comes to budgeting needs. Now that I have my family sinking fund set up for us, this is just a setup where I can refer back to and know how much cash needs to be deposited every month for my sinking fund. And just to go over sinking funds one more time, you guys, a sinking fund is not very much different from a savings account, so let's start off with that point. The difference might be is that when you have a savings account, it's not for a specific purpose. When you have sinking funds, it is an intention. You basically give your money, your savings, a task, and you know that that's what you're working towards. Of course, with the zero-based budget and Dave Ramsey, you also have your emergency fund, which you always have to make sure you have completed before you move on to your baby step number 2. And then sinking funds can be incorporated anytime during your budget, and even after you're debt free, you can continue sinking funds just as a way to keep yourself accountable and know where your money's gonna go. Sometimes when you save, you just throw money into savings. You know, whenever you decide, oh, I want money for my new car, but then you forgot that you had another bill coming up, such as insurance, and you used up all your savings, and now you have no money left over for your insurance that's due once a year. That's a situation that you might run into with a savings account. But with a sinking fund, you have your money and you know exactly how much of that money goes to what category. And these categories can be anything that you pick. It is all up to you. That's the beauty about when you make your own budget. It's just what matters to your family, not so much right or wrong way, just the way that you find that works out for all of the members in your family. And that is how you decide what is important, what you need to save for, how much to save for it. It's just another way of saving money, but with a purpose, or with an intention, or with a label. In this case, $100 every single month towards Christmas. Another thing that your sinking funds can help you with, for example, for our car expenses, you know, a term that Dave Ramsey likes to use a lot is Murphy's Law. And Murphy's Law basically says that something will go wrong at some point in time. And you know, it's true. It's just mishaps that happen. You get a flat tire, you go to fix it, and they tell you, they can't fix it. You need a new tire. That's what Murphy's Law would be. And therefore, the little bit of money that we're saving in our car expenses fund would helpfully cover that amount that we need for that bill. And of course, you know, $50 is very little for a car expense, because we all know how expensive those things are. But you just manage your money to the best of your ability, what you know your family can handle, in order to make sure that you make ends meet. You know, that's always important. It is important to have a roof over your head, electricity for power, you know, food, and then gas to get to work. That's how I look at it, and I think Dave Ramsey sees it the same way. That's probably where I learned it, if I remember back in 2016. Every single month, whenever I do my sinking funds for my budget, let me show you guys my page. My sinking funds goes here. I am also going to record that number on this side. Therefore, I have a page where I can just take a quick glance for the year, and I'll have all the information on hand. That's the same reason, or that's the same way I am going to use in this section over here for my cash envelope tracker. Again, if you guys have any questions, don't forget to list them down below. It is my goal to have a video every single day, and I did mention I had a surprise for you guys when I did my budget notebook setup, my budget planner setup, but I did not include it because it was already too long of a video. I will be including it in my next video, which should be my Hobonichi 2020 setup, so keep an eye out for that, you guys. Thanks again for joining me. I really appreciate you guys so much. Don't forget to subscribe, and of course, give this video a thumbs up. I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.